As part of their job, teachers typically organize and implement an appropriate instructional programs at the educational institution to encourage and help students develop and fulfill their full academic potential. Most of the time, teacher is responsible for developing curriculum, designing instructional activities, preparing lesson instructions, grading submitted work, managing the classroom, evaluating and giving feedback to the students, collaborating with coworkers and supervisors, as well as doing a lot of other stuff as needed. Before hiring the candidate, companies would like to ensure that candidate can pass the psychometric test to succeed on the job. Hi there, this is Vadim Mikhailenko from Online Training for Everyone. And in this video, I would like to help you get ready and pass interview and employment assessment test. Most common questions we see as part of employment assessment test are analytical and problem solving, patterns, charts and graphs, math and calculation questions, logical interpretation and reasoning questions, data interpretation and analysis questions, as well as a lot of others. Employment assessment tests typically used on the jobs that require analytical and problem-solving skills. These types of tests typically very important for the candidates that may need to demonstrate business acumen skills and business decision-making skills in the future as part of their job. Let me share with you some best practices on how to get the most out of the video you're about to watch. You can watch this video as many times as you need to better understand the material. Consider watching from the beginning to end to make sure you didn't miss anything and have a good comprehension of the material. Practice questions and answers presented. Make sure you pause on the question and see if you can come up with the answer. And as usual, drop us a line and ask any questions and comments. In this video, I will share with you sample questions we see on the test. I will have some questions for you to try, and I'll show you tips, tricks, and hacks on how to get ready and pass the test. If you like the content, please give this video a big thumbs up. This tells us that you need more content like this, and we'll make sure to deliver it to you in the future. Also, please consider subscribing to Online Training for Everyone. With every video that we make, we help you get ready and get hired for your dream job. And now, let's go ahead and jump straight to the questions. Let's look at the tricky problem, which at first doesn't seem solvable, but when you understand how to solve it, has a very easy solution. First and second bookshelves together have 80 books. First and third bookshelves together have 60 books. Second and third bookshelves together have 40 books. How many books are there on each shelf? And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, 40, 40, and 20. Choice B, 50, 30, and 10. Choice C, 30, 50, and 10. And choice D, 55, 25, and 15. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can solve this challenge together. The key to solving this challenge is the fact that all bookshelves are mentioned here twice. And we can easily calculate twice as many books as are on each shelf. To do that, let's add 80 plus 60 plus 40, and we will get to 180. Then, to calculate actual number of all the books on all 3 shelves, we just need to divide it by 2, which will give us the amount of 90 books. Now, having this number, we can easily calculate the number of books on the first shelf, because we know how many books are in the second and third shelves. To calculate number of books on the first shelf, we need to subtract 40 from 90, and we'll get 50. Number of books on the second shelf can be calculated by subtracting 60 from 90, which would be 30. And number of books on the third shelf would be 90 minus 80, which would be equivalent of 10. So the correct answer here is choice B, 50, 30, and 10. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now know how to solve these types of problems on the test. Let's look at the tricky problem, which at first seems unsolvable in a reasonable amount of time. But once you know the key and how to approach it, you can solve it very quickly. How many digits would you need to write if you were writing all the numbers from 1 to 1000? And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, 1000. Choice B, 2793. Choice C, 2893. And choice D, 2993. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can approach and solve this challenge together. And the key to solve this type of challenge is to understand that there are 4 types of numbers that we will be dealing with. 1-digit numbers, 2-digit numbers, 3-digit numbers, and then 4-digit numbers. And to solve this challenge, we need to count how many of each type of numbers would we be writing and how many digits we will be writing as part of writing these types of 4 numbers. For 1-digit numbers, we will be writing 9 1-digit numbers, and this can be counted as 9 multiplied by 1. From 10 to 99, numbers will have 2 digits, and we will have 180 digits total, which could be counted as 90 multiplied by 2. From 100 to 999, numbers will have 3 digits, and we will have 2700 of those numbers, which is calculated as 3 multiplied by 900. And 1000 is the only unique number which will have 4 digits. So total number of digits we will be writing would be 9 plus 180 plus 2700 plus 4, which would be an equivalent of 2893. So the correct choice here is choice C, 2893. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now know how to solve these types of problems in the test. Let's look at the tricky problem you might frequently see on the test. The father of 3 kids is 41 years old. His oldest son is 13, the middle son is 10, and the youngest son is 6 years old. In how many years the age of the father would be the same as the sum of his kids' ages? And you have 4 choices: in 5 years, in 6 years, in 9 years, or in 12 years. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can get to the correct answer together. If you look at the problem, one of the easiest ways to solve this problem in the test might be to add 3 ages for the kids, incremented by 3 for every year, and increment father's age by 1, and see at which point are you going to have a match. An alternative way to do it would be to do the calculations using the formula. So let's calculate the sum of all 3 kids' ages first. 13 plus 10 plus 6 is equal 29. The difference in the father's age and the kids' ages sum is 41 minus 29 equals 12. Every year, the kids' age would increase by 3, while father's age will increase by 1. So the difference is 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 is the value by which sum of 3 kids' ages will be catching up to the father's age. So to calculate the actual question asked in the problem, we need to divide 12 by 2, which is an equivalent of 6 years. So the correct choice here is choice B. In 6 years, the age of the father would be an exact sum of his kids' ages. So the father will be 47 at that time. Can you guess what would be the ages of the kids at that time? Hopefully this explanation was helpful, and now you know how to solve these types of problems on the test. And now here's the question for you to practice. If you know the answer, please make sure to post it in comments, and I'll share with you my feedback. Grant earns $1,500 per month, but always has to spend 50% on bills which are due at the end of each month. Out of his total bills, a third are dedicated toward utility expenses, and out of all utility expenses, a fifth are comprised of heating costs. How much did Grant spend specifically on heating bills? And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, $35. Choice B, $45. Choice C, $50. Or choice D, $75. If you know the answer, please make sure to post it in the comments. Thanks for participating. Let's look at the tricky problem, which at first doesn't seem obvious solution, but can be solved once you know how to approach it. The farmer has chickens and cows. All animals together have 15 heads and 36 legs. How many chickens and cows does the farmer have? And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, 10 chickens, 5 cows. Choice B, 11 chickens and 4 cows. Choice C, 12 chickens and 3 cows. And choice D, 13 chickens and 2 cows. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can solve this challenge together. There's no formula that can be used to solve this challenge, So the easiest solution to this problem is to do multiplication and multiply number of chickens by number of legs that chickens have, and then multiply number of cows by the number of legs cows have. So 10 by 2 is 20, 5 by 4 is 20. So for choice A, there would be 40 legs, but we only have 36. So the answer lies somewhere in between. As we keep increasing, the second one would be 11 by 2, 22, and 4 by 4, 16, which totals at 38. And then as you approach choice C, you will get to 24 plus 12, which would give you 36, which is the final number of legs. By using this approach, you will get to choice C by doing 3 different calculations, which is also pretty quickly for the test. You can also do some approximation and get to the correct answer faster. For example, if the farmer only had chickens, they would only have 30 legs together, because 15 multiplied by 2 would be 30 legs. But we have 36 legs, and 36 minus 30 equals to 6 legs. Cows, because they have 4 legs, extra 6 legs belong to the cows. And 6 divided by 2 equals 3 cows. So by doing this calculation, we can multiply 3 by 4, which will give us 12 legs, and those 12 legs belong to cows. So the correct answer would be 15 heads total, and 3 cows' heads, and 12 chicken heads, which leads us to the same correct answer as choice C, 12 chickens and 3 cows. I need to ask you for a favor. If you know the easier way to solve this challenge, please share in the comment section of this video. Let's take a look at the pattern question, which is frequently used as part of employment assessment test. Determine the next number in pattern, and you have pattern of 5 numbers, 4 of them presented on the screen, and 1 is something you need to determine. 1, 4, 9, 16. Do you know what the next number in this pattern might be? You have 4 different choices. Choice A, 21. Choice B, 23. Choice C, 25. And choice D, 26. Let's see how we can get to the correct answer together. To answer the pattern question, you need to determine the formula. In our case, the formula is the number in the pattern squared. So for example, 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, and the next number in pattern would be 5. 5 squared would be 25. So the correct answer here is choice C. Let's recap. The best way to answer pattern questions is to identify the pattern first, and in our case, the pattern could be represented by the formula that the number is counted by number count squared. So calculating the next number is represented right here. 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, and 5 squared is 25. So the correct answer is choice C, 25. Hopefully you've nailed this question. And now here's the question for you to try. If you know the answer, please make sure to post it in the comment section of this video, and I'll respond with my feedback. Jack's phone provider charges him $30 for the first 45 minutes of call each month, plus 75 cents for every additional full minute of calling after that. If Jack's total bill last month was $41.25, approximately how many minutes did he spend calling? And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, 53. Choice B, 57. Choice C, 59. And choice D, 60. If you know the answer, please post it in the comment section of this video. Thanks for participating. Let's look at one tricky problem you might frequently see on the test. The pitcher has 3 times more water than the coffee maker, while the coffee maker has 12 cups less water than the pitcher. How many cups of water are in the pitcher? You have 4 choices: 12, 18, 20, and 24. Do you think you know the answer? To solve this challenge, let's use formulas, and we will have P for pitcher and C for coffee maker. So the first statement is that the pitcher has 3 times more water than the coffee maker would be equivalent of the formula P equals 3 multiplied by C. The statement that the coffee maker has 12 cups less water than the pitcher would be an equivalent of C equals P minus 12. Let's put both of these formulas together and convert it into the formula with only one variable. So 3 multiplied by C is an equivalent of C plus 12. So the total number of cups in the coffee maker can be calculated as 12 divided by 2, which is an equivalent of 6. Coffee maker has 6 cups of water, and the pitcher has 12 plus 6, 18 cups of water. Question for you. Do you know how to simplify it and eliminate one step in the calculations? I'll give you a hint. I calculated the value for coffee maker, which added one extra step. You can use formula to calculate the value for the pitcher. Do you know how to do it? Can you post your answer in the comment section of this video? I'll take a look and give you the feedback. Thanks for participating. Let's look at the simple question, which a lot of people often get wrong. The younger brother received 20 baseball cards on his birthday from his older brother. Now, both brothers have the same number of baseball cards, totaling to 100 cards. How many cards did each brother have initially? And you have 4 choices. Older 50, younger 50. Choice B, 55 and 45. Choice C, older brother 60, younger brother 40. And choice D, older brother 70 and younger brother 30. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see if we can get to the correct solution together. The first step to solve this challenge is to calculate how many cards both brothers have after the birthday. Since both brothers have the same number of baseball cards, totaling of 100 cards, then each brother has a half of it, which is 50, which is calculated by 100 divided by 2. So initially, the older brother had 50 plus 20, 70 cards, and the younger brother had 50 minus 20, 30 cards. So the correct choice here is D, older brother 70 cards and younger brother 30. I hope you nailed this question and know how to solve similar problems on the test. Let me give you a tip on how to plan your time during the test. As you're probably well aware, most of the assessment tests are timed. One thing you can do to increase your chances of passing the test is to calculate how much time would you have per question. For example, if you have 50 questions that you need to complete in 60 minutes, you can do a quick math in your head. By dividing 60 by 50, it will give you the answers that you need about 1.2 minutes per question, which is an equivalent of 72 seconds per question. Having this information handy will tell you how much time you need to allocate per each question. Now let's continue and get you ready for the assessment test. Let's look at the problem which you need to solve without the calculator. What is the sum of all the numbers that end on 0 or 5 from 1 to 100? And we have 4 different choices. Choice A, 100. Choice B, 105. Choice C, 1000. And choice D, 1050. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can solve this challenge together. Let's look at how this problem can be solved without the calculator. If you write down all the numbers that end on 0 or 5 from 1 to 100, you will realize that there are 20 numbers. Let's look at the sequence. 5, 10, 15, 20, and if you continue, you can just add 5 to get to the correct number. But we are mostly interested in the last 4 numbers, which would be 85, 90, 95, and 100. So the opposite numbers can be paired with the end result of 105. For example, 5 plus 100 is equal 105. 10 plus 95 equals 105. 15 plus 90, same thing, 105. So there are 10 pairs because there are a total of 20 numbers. When value for each pair equals 105 and you multiply by 10, which is the number of pairs, you will get to the end result of 1050. So the correct choice here is choice D, 1050. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now know how to solve these types of questions in the test. Let's look at the interesting problem which you might frequently see on the test. There are 3 daughters in a family. Each one is half the age of the older sister. The sum of ages of all 3 sisters is 28. How old is each sister? And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, 4, 8, and 16. Choice B, 4, 8, and 19. Choice C, 5, 10, and 20. Choice D, 6, 10, and 12. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can get to the correct solution together. To solve this challenge, I'll show you how to build a formula that will lead you to the solution. But in the end, we will also look at the alternative way, which might be faster. So the sum of all ages for the sisters is 28 years. We will introduce the variable y, and based on the variable, we'll try to create a formula to calculate the age of each sister. If the youngest little sister's age is y, then the age of the middle sister would be 2 multiplied by y. And the age of the oldest sister would be 4 multiplied by y, which is 2 by 2 by y. So the total formula to get to 28 would be y plus 2y's plus 4y's would be equal to 28. So 7 multiplied by y is equals 28. And y can be calculated as 28 divided by 7, and y would be equal to 4. So the youngest sister is 4 years old. The middle sister is 8 years old, which is 4 multiplied by 2. And the oldest sister is 16 years old. So the correct choice here is choice A. Now let me show you an alternative way to solve this challenge without using any formulas. If you look at the choices A, B, C, and D, you see that choice A matches the pattern. So for example, if you have youngest sister as age 4, the middle sister would be 4 by 2, which is 8, which is correct, and then 8 by 2 is 16. Let's do the same thing for other choices. Choice B, 4 multiplied by 2 is 8, but 8 multiplied by 2 is calculated incorrectly, so choice B can be eliminated. Same thing for choice C, the only difference is that even though numbers match, 5 by 2 is 10, 10 by 2 is 20, the end result, 20 plus 10 plus 5, is going to be equal 35 and not 28. So, and the same thing for choice D. 6 multiplied by 2 is 12, not 10. So the choice D, C, and B could be eliminated without even creating a formula. Hopefully this gives you enough choices to solve this problem on the test. And now here's the question for you to try. If you know the answer, please make sure to post it in the comment section of this video. Determine the next number in this sequence: 11, 19, 16, 19, 21, 19. So what is the next number? Choice A, 24. Choice B, 26. Choice C, 37. Choice D, 42. If you know the answer, please make sure to post it in the comments, and I'll give you my feedback. Thank you for participating. Let's look at the simple pattern question you might frequently see as part of employment assessment test. Fill in the blanks to complete the pattern. You have series of numbers: 2, 5, 8, 11, and then the missing number. And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, 12. Choice B, 13. Choice C, 14. And choice D, 15. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can get to the correct solution together. This pattern is rather simple. The next number is determined as previous number plus 3. So to calculate next number, you have 2 plus 3 equals 5, 5 plus 3, 8, 8 plus 3, 11, and the last number would be 11 plus 3, 14. So the correct choice here is choice B, 14. Hopefully you've nailed this question. Let's take a look at the tricky question you might often see as part of employment assessment test. John spent 30% of his earnings last month on rent and 40% less than what he spent on rent to purchase a new dishwasher. What percent of last month's earnings did John have left over? In your 4 different choices. Choice A, 30%. Choice B, 40%. Choice C, 52%. And choice D, 70%. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can calculate correct answer together. As you might see here, the key would be to calculate the cost of dishwasher. And calculation of cost of dishwasher is based on the calculation of the rent. If you look at the initial problem, the earnings could be represented as 100%. Rent would be 30%. If you subtract rent from earnings, the leftovers will be 70%. But in addition to rent, John also purchased a dishwasher. which is 40% less than he spent on rent. 40% less means 1 minus 0.4, which is represented by 0.6. So to calculate cost of dishwasher, we would need to multiply 30% by 0.6, which would be an equivalent of 18%. Next step would be to calculate how much John spent on rent and dishwasher. And this could be calculated by adding up 30 plus 18, which would be an equivalent of 48%. And to calculate what was actually left, we need to subtract 48 from 100, which would be an equivalent of 52. So John has left over 52% of his last month's earnings after he paid for rent and paid for the dishwasher. So the correct answer is choice C. Hopefully you've nailed this question. And now, here's the question for you to test your knowledge. Please make sure to post your answer in the comment section of this video. How many even two-digit numbers between 1 and 100 with both digits even? And you have 4 choices. Choice A, 50. Choice B, 48. Choice C, 25. And choice D, 20. If you know the answer, please make sure to post it in the comment section of this video. And I or other experts on the channel will reply with the correct answer in the comments as well. Thanks for participating and good luck testing your knowledge. Now let's look at the question which tests your knowledge of working with shapes, patterns, and numbers. Select an arrow which logically belongs in the rectangle with the question mark. Here on the screen, you see 3 by 3 box. Each row of the box and each column of the box has arrows. One arrow is missing. Which arrow do you think is missing? The key here is to identify the pattern. Each row and each column contains unique arrows. In the first row, we have arrow pointing to the right, upper right, and then to the upper left. Then upper left, right, and upper right. So here we have upper right, and then we have arrow pointing to the upper left, and what's missing is the arrow pointing to the right. And that would be the right answer. And the arrow pointing to the right would be choice A. And this is the explanation. So each row has 3 arrows. All 3 arrows are directed to 3 directions. And they are unique. According to the pattern, correct answer is A, because arrow which is directed to the right is missing in the 3rd row. Hopefully you've got this one right. A lot of times, number sequences are used to test candidates' abilities on the test. We're looking at one of these types of questions. Which number logically follows this number series? And we have a series of numbers. 4, 6, 9, 6, 14, 6. And we need to determine the next number. We have 4 choices. Choice A, 6, choice B, 17, choice C, 19, and choice D, 21. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see if we can get to the correct answer together. The best way to answer these types of questions on the test is to determine the pattern. You see that there are 2 patterns. One is pattern of number 6, which is in between of every other number. So we have 4, 6, 9, 6 again, 14, 6 again. And once we determine this pattern, we see that the pattern of numbers in between 6s is increasing by 5. So we have 4 increasing by 5, which leads to 9. 9 increasing by 5, which leads to 14. So to determine the next number in the pattern, we need to increase 14 by 5, which would be 19. So the correct choice here is C. Let's recap. The numbers in between 6s increase by 5, while the 6s remain constant. The correct answer is choice C, which is 19. Hopefully you've nailed this question. A lot of people ask me, how can I help? One of the best ways to help others on this channel is to help answer their questions. If you see questions on this channel that you know the answer to, please make sure to post your answer. This way, you will help another person to get hired. Now let's continue and get you ready for the assessment test. Let's look at the tricky question, which is often used to test your knowledge of finding synonyms and understanding analogy in terms of the words. Which word can logically replace the question mark? Water is to a pipe as something to a wire. And you have 5 choices: electricity, voltage, current, heat, or cord. Do you think you know the answer? In logical terms, this question asks you to explain the things in terms of another and to highlight the ways in which they are alike. Water is to a pipe as an electricity to a wire, so the correct answer here is choice A. If you look at choices B to E, you see that they're incorrect choices because they do not provide such an explanation. Hopefully you've nailed this question. Here is the tricky question, which a lot of candidates answer incorrectly because they do not spend enough time and miss some of the important combination in the fraction. Solve x from this equation, and you have a formula where you need to calculate the value x. You also have 4 different choices. Please pause the video and see if you can calculate the correct answer here. And now let's go and calculate the correct answer together. The tricky part in this question is that you need to divide 3 by 1/3, which is an equivalent of 9. And a lot of people, when they do calculation, instead multiply 3 by 1/3 and get to the number 1. This calculation is an equivalent of multiplying 3 by 3, which is obviously an equivalent of 9. When you proceed with adds and subtracts, you get to the number 1. So the correct choice here is choice A. Hopefully you've nailed this question, but in case you need more questions from the real tests, make sure to check out my ebook in the description of this video. Here is the question from the real test to help you test your knowledge. Please make sure to post your answer in the comment section of this video. A student sets her budget for groceries at X dollars. If for each of the n days she uses Z worth of groceries, which of the following expressions represents the amount left in the budget? Choice A, X minus N. Choice B, X minus Z. Choice C, NX minus Z. And choice D, X minus NZ. If you know the answer, please make sure to post it in the comment section of this video, and myself or other experts on the channel will reply with the correct answer in the comments as well. Thanks for participating, and good luck testing your knowledge. Now let's look at the very complex question which you see a lot during logical reasoning tests, psychometric tests, and the numerical reasoning tests. Find the correct shape to continue the series. And what we have here, we have 3 by 3 matrix with 8 shapes populated, and 1 shape is missing. There are 4 choices as usual, but in order for you to calculate the right shape, you need to determine the pattern. And in fact, there are 2 patterns here on this screen. Can you figure it out? Do you know what the right answer is? As I mentioned, there are 2 patterns here. One is there is a pattern for the shape. Which shape would you choose? And second pattern is the pattern for the lines. And where is the right location for the line itself? Now let's go through the detection of the shape pattern first. So the shape pattern is triangle, square, and then the circle, right? So triangle, square, and then next one would be the circle. So we have a circle, that's the right value here, but all of this are the circles. So this was helpful, but not by much. But it just tells us that we are detecting the first pattern. And here, if you want to confirm, we have square, circle, and then triangle. Now, the most important part here is to determine on which side of the shape the lines should be located. And what we have here, we have 4 locations, as you can see in the answer. 1 location on the top, right, left, and bottom. So how would you know where's the right location for the circle shape? So let's look closely here and let's detect the pattern here for the line location. The line location starts with the bottom, right, and then top. So you see it's going counterclockwise. So if you imagine the clock with the clockwise rotation, then this would be counterclockwise. And let's see if we are correct and we have a pattern here. So we have bottom, right, top. Then we have left, bottom, so that still matches the counterclockwise pattern. And then we have left, bottom, right. So I think the missing shape here would be the one before the left, which would be on the top. So the right answer in this case would be A, because here we have a circle which matches the circle's pattern, and then we have lines located at the top. Let's verify to confirm that. And as you can see, the correct answer is A. So let's recap. There are 2 patterns you need to detect in this assignment. Patterns for the shapes and pattern for the line location. Shapes are displayed in a particular order. Triangle, square, circle, that's really the pattern for the shapes. And pattern for lines are in a counterclockwise order. So correct answer is A. Hopefully you've got this one right. You will see a lot of these types of questions in the assessment test.
Can I ask you to do me a favor? If you know somebody who is looking for the job and will benefit from this video, can you please share this video with them? This is going to help them to get ready for the job interview and assessment test and help them get hired for their dream job. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And now let's continue and get you ready for the job interview and assessment test.
So here is the tricky question, which is frequently used as part of logical reasoning tests and numerical reasoning tests. The day after tomorrow is 4 days before Monday. What day is it today? And you have 4 choices: Sunday, Monday, Friday, and Saturday. And the reason I'm laughing is because this tells me that you always should come to those types of tests after a very good night's sleep and try to schedule them in the morning. That's the best advice I can give you. Because sometimes if you come to this type of test tired, you wouldn't even understand what they're asking you to do. So, do you have an idea how to answer this? Let's take a look at the answer. Again, most of the time you have to use reverse method to get to the right answer. And the reverse method tells us that 4 days before Monday is Thursday, and day before Thursday is Tuesday. If tomorrow is Tuesday, today is Monday. So the correct answer is B, Monday. Hopefully you've got this one right. Let's look at the tricky question which confused a lot of applicants in the test. If a train in motion increases its speed by 30% and then increases the speed by 10%, what percent of the original speed is the total increase in speed? And you have 4 possible choices. Choice A, 10%. Choice B, 40%. Choice C, 43%. And choice D, 140%. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can solve this challenge together. To solve this problem, you need to calculate based on the original speed. If the original speed is 1, then the initial increase in speed would be 1 multiplied by 30%, which is an equivalent of multiplying by 1.3, which would be 1.3. The total increase in speed then would be 1.3, which is the speed after first increase, multiplied by 1.1, which is an increase by 10%, which would be an equivalent of 1.43. So the correct answer is choice C, 43%. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now know how to answer similar questions in the test.
I'm sorry for the interruption, but I would like to ask you to participate in our daily assessment test challenge. I post new questions regularly as part of online training for everyone YouTube channel community tab. I give you opportunity to try and answer this question yourself. We post answers and explanations to the question in the comments next day. Please make sure to check it out and test your knowledge. And now let's continue and get you ready for the test.
Let's look at the exchange rate question you might frequently see on the test. Before going to Canada, Amy exchanged 300 euros for $580. Her trip got extended, so later she exchanged 440 euros, receiving $919.60. What is the percentage increase in the exchange rate? And you have 5 different choices: 5%, 7.2%, 8.1%, 145%, and then 16.2%. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can get to the correct solution together. We need to solve this challenge in multiple steps. First step, we need to determine exchange rate as part of the first exchange. Then we will determine exchange rate for the second exchange. And after that, we will calculate the difference between the first exchange rate and then the second exchange rate. So to calculate the first exchange rate, we need to use the formula and divide euros to Canadian dollars. We have 500 euros and we received 300 Canadian dollars. So the exchange rate would be 580 divided by 300, which would be 193. Second exchange rate will be calculated in a similar way. We divide 919.6 euros to $440, and we will get the rate of 2.09. The percentage change of the exchange rate is 2.09 minus 1.93 is equivalent of 0.1566. And percentage increase then is calculated 0.1566 divided by 193 and multiplied by 100, which is an equivalent of 8.1%. So the correct answer is choice C, 8.1%. Hopefully you've got this question right. Let's look at the simple question, which tests your knowledge of logical reasoning and patterns. Bob is using a new set of golf clubs. With an 8-iron club, the ball travels an average distance of 100 yards. With a 7-iron, 108 yards. With a 6-iron club, 114 yards. How far will the ball go if Bob uses a 5-iron club? And you have 4 choices: 120 yards, 119, 118, or 117. Do you think you know the correct answer? Let's see if we can nail this question and get to the correct answer together. When you read through the question carefully, you see the pattern here. For every iron reduced, the ball travels for longer distance. For example, 8-iron club is 100 yards, 7 is 108, and then 6-iron is 108 plus 6, which is 114. So the first increment was by 8, and the second increment was by 6, which is 8 minus 2. So we can reasonably conclude that with each club with a lower number, the ball travels farther by the distance between the number of the previous 2 clubs minus 2 yards. So the next value would be 114 minus 108, which is 6, minus 2, which is 4 yards, and 114 plus 4 is equals 118. So the correct answer is C, 118 yards. Hopefully you've nailed this question. Here is the question from the real test to help you test your knowledge. Please make sure to post your answer in the comment section of this video. A student can rent a violin from a music store for $15 a month for the first 3 months, and then $10 a month for each of the following months. How much would he pay for rent if he needs a violin for 9 months? Choice A, $90. Choice B, $105. Choice C, $120. And choice D, $135. If you know the answer, please make sure to post it in the comment section of this video, and myself or other experts on the channel will reply with the correct answer in comments as well. Thanks for participating, and good luck testing your knowledge. Let's look at the tricky problem we frequently see on the test. Hikers went on a nature trip and walked 40 miles in 3 days. They walked 3 times more on the first day than on the last day, and the same mileage on the second day and on the first day and the third days combined. How many miles did they walk each day? And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, 10 miles first day, 20 miles second day, and then 10 miles third day. Choice B, 15, 15, and 10. Choice C, 10, 25, and 5. And choice D, 15, 20, and 5. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can get to the formula and the correct answer together and solve this challenge quickly. Before jumping to the formula-based solution, let me show you a quick way to solve this challenge. If you read the second sentence, you would realize that they walked 3 times more on the first day than on the last day. And the only choice that matches this condition would be choice D, because in choice D, on the third day, they walked 5 miles, and on the first day, they walked 15 miles. So 5 multiplied by 3 equals exactly 15. The second part of the sentence indicates that they walked the same mileage on the second day as on the first and third days combined. So if we validate against this part of the logic, that you will see that 20 would be equivalent of 15 plus 5. So that's another match for choice D. But that's a lot of guessing. Let's go to the formula-based solution. If you want to solve this problem using the formula, you will see that on the third day they walked X miles, and on the first day they walked 3 times X miles. Then on the second days they walked 3 times X plus X miles, and total they walked 40 miles. Because in total they walked 40 miles, the formula will be 3x plus 3x plus x equals 40. If we try to get to the value of x, we would need to divide 40 by 8, which would be an equivalent of 5. So the first day, they walked 3 by 5, 15 miles. On the second day, they walked 15 plus 5, 20 miles. And on the third day, they walked 5 miles. So the correct answer is choice D, 15, 20, and 5 miles in 3 days. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now have more than one option how to solve it in the test. Do you know any other better options? Please feel free to share them in the comment section of this video. Thanks for participating. Let's look at the tricky problem which could be easily solved. There is an unknown number. 1 was added to this number, then 2 was subtracted from the result. Then it was multiplied by 3 and then divided by 4. The result is 6. So what is the original number? And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, 6. Choice B, 8. Choice C, 9. And then choice D, 12. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can solve this challenge together. The easiest way to solve this is to go in reverse. If we multiply 6 by 4, then divide by 3, then add 2, and do minus 1, the end result of it would be 9. Let's check if this is correct. 9 plus 1 minus 2, then multiplied by 3 and then divided by 4 equals 6. So the correct answer is choice C, 9. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now know how to solve these problems on the test.
Thanks for watching. I encourage you to check out our daily question challenge in the community section of this channel. I also recommend that you check downloads in the description section of this video. Please also check out resources page on our website, howtoanalyzedata.net/resources. If you like the content, please give this video a big thumbs up. This tells us that you need more content like this. I would encourage you to share this video with other people that might be looking for the job. This will help them to get prepared and pass assessment test faster. Please consider subscribing and following this channel. We have a community of great people helping each other to get ready and pass the test. Please leave questions, comments, or suggestions in the comment section of this video. And all the best on your interview and assessment test. Thanks for watching.